Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. We've got some Saturday news. I'm a little bit late sharing this news. Didn't expect it. And I was doing stuff today. Terrible, terrible to have some time at the weekend. Oh well, we're back for a raid news video, and it's actually reasonably substantial. This raises some pretty big questions about whether you want to be doing this or not. So, on the 3rd of November, let's make this a brighter color, and let's go bright green. Perfect. The 3rd of November, uh, Awakening boost. So 2x, 4, 5, and 6-star perfect souls from Mortal Soulstones. This is one of the best events, full stop, for Mortal Soulstones. Oh, let's buy another one. I have loads of these. I've been saving these, obviously, for Leonardo. I've been trying to stockpile as much as possible. So I do have loads. And I mean, this is simply the question, right? This is a really good event for Mortal Soulstones, just full stop. It's giving you the best souls out of them. Bearing in mind, they do still suck. Most of what you're going to get, of course, is junk, but it's giving you the best chance possible that you will get something good. I mean, normally, you've got a 4 plus... 4-star is pretty decent as well for, like, damage dealers especially. That's often as much as they need. Yeah, so 5.5, whatever, 6.25. Yeah, I think 6.25. When this is doubled, you're getting about a 12.5, I think, isn't it? 12.5% chance that you'll be getting a 4, 5, or 6-star soul. Let's say 1 in 10. We'll round it down. 1 in 10 of your mortals will be a 4 to 6-star soul. Now, of course, most of those will be rare. Some will be epic, which is still useful. Legendary, still useful. And 2% mythical, very useful if you happen to have the mythical champion, of course. That's a bigger challenge in of itself. It's a great time to pull mortals. The only concern is, could there be mortals? Remember, we are very much expecting a Leonardo path the upcoming weekend. So by the end of the week, probably on Friday, I would guess. So once the Sanguine Maria fusion is fully wrapped up, once clan versus clan, which by the way is not personal rewards. And by the way, I will be streaming clan versus clan on Tuesday, but I'll be starting a little bit late because I do have a doctor's appointment in the morning. So yeah, it might be an hour and a half late. I'm not exactly sure. Depends how long it takes. Who the heck knows, right? But yeah, it will be at some point Tuesday morning streaming, but it's not personal rewards. So yeah, will there be soulstones as part of the Leonardo path? We simply don't know. Very, very likely that it's going to be at the weekend, and therefore it will be replacing the summon event for the upcoming weekend, or it will be the summon event for the weekend. There could be soulstones in there, in which case using some now kind of sucks. Or again, alternatively, they could drop a deck of fate for something random in the middle of November that could have souls. Remember, whenever they do guaranteed champions from decks of fate specifically, those typically do involve soulstones. Very common these days whenever there's a deck of fate for a guaranteed champion, which is one of their favorite ways to do it. Perhaps the most common way these days. Heroes paths as well. But the deck of fate champions tend to have soul requirements. Losing out on some mortals, it's not the end of the world because they kind of suck. But let's say every 10 mortals is roughly equal to 1 immortal. So for me, this is like 18 immortals, basically. It is actually somewhat substantial in these large quantities. So yeah, we've got that. It'll be up for 96 hours. Now, here's the other thing. So far, it's a little bit, tempting. Really good boost event, but lose out on the more like... So it's kind of like, do I pull on a 2x event or do I save my shards for a summon rush event, right? Get more legendaries from the shards or help to do like fusions and whatnot. It's a similar sort of thing with soulstones, but there's more. There's going to be a fuel deck of fate. These are typically fairly unpopular, but often better than people think. So this is going to include basically relic materials and basalt. We'll see how much there is. So this is all starting on Monday. So we will look at it on Monday when it's actually live. So points by upgrading champions and summoning souls from Soulstone. So this obviously, summoning souls obviously ties in directly over here, which is, really nice. So yeah, pulling a bunch of mortals, get a good chance, and now you're going to be earning some points towards a fuel deck of fate. It's looking like pretty good value to me. This is probably worth doing unless you're super low on resources and want to really make sure that nothing can take you by surprise with Leonardo. But if you are like me, I did pull a bunch of immortals for, was it Raphael? I think it was Raphael or something like that. I can't remember now. But I still have a really solid stockpile of immortals, and I've got a stockpile of eternals, so I'd really rather save those for 2x eternals. And I'd be expecting a 2x eternals maybe for Black Friday or Christmas or something. But I'm in a pretty good spot. Even if I pulled all my mortals, I'm in a pretty good spot. So I'm kind of tempted to go for it. We'll come to that in a second. Yeah, that stuff is what's going on. Now, what relics are in there? I don't think there's any info here as to what basalt is in there, unfortunately. But the relics are a bit meh. So 300 rare, basically trash. 200 epics, again, is basically trash. 150 legendaries, even still, kind of not that useful, to be brutally honest. They're okay, though. So that's somewhat decent. Then the 50 mythicals are really good, but there is only 50 in there. So this is the question for me. I'm like, yeah, great time to pull mortals. We're getting a deck as well. You're getting some rewards from the deck, but it's quite possible most of the rewards from the deck are going to be kind of rubbish. Now, let's look at the mythical sun lilies. So these are these ones here, the sun lilies. It's the discovery relics, basically. One thing to note, I think these will come back in the future. These arrived with the TMNT event, the turtles, right? But as you can see, Discovery, it's got the shuriken or whatever. It's certainly ninja themed, and like Stars of the Jinang is certainly ninja themed, the shuriken. This looks vaguely like Shredder, but none of it is actually TMNT branded. So I think Plarium is very likely that there are a bunch of like legal restrictions because it's like a real world IP, the turtles, that they can't keep them in the game. And once the TMNT event is over, it's quite possible they will never come back to raid again. You'll never be able to get them. But these discovery relics, they're not part of the turtle, so they can bring these back whenever. They have said specifically about, in the case of Alice's Adventure and Chaos Awakes, these were just Raid's take on, well, Chaos Awakes is just demons. Alice's Adventures or Alice in Wonderland, but that's public domain, so it's fine to cover that. They can bring these back whenever they want. They have said specifically, we asked them about the Cat's Gaze before, and I think about Chaos Awakes, and they said that, you know what, yep, they will bring back some of these time limited, because these are currently not available to get in the game at all, but they will bring them back at some point in the future, probably for other time limited events, but there will be more chances to get these relics in the future. It's likely, it will be, I'm assuming, the same thing with Discovery. There's no reason they can't bring them back in the future, but who knows when that will be? It could be a few months from now, could be a couple of years from now, who knows? In terms of these relics, I will be honest, I think Stars of the Jinang is incredible. Like, it's stupidly good. I think Zibia's Servitude is pretty good. I think it's a bit underrated. And the rest, take them or leave them. Like, I don't really think you need the rest, honestly. Like, Mask of Disquiet, Last Laugh, like the two legendaries, are they doing anything all that different from Aspect of Siroth and Wand of Submission? Are they superior to Mask of Disquiet versus Wand of Submission? Chance for an extra turn after returning from Sheep, or you could just reflect the Sheep. Reflecting Sheep's pretty good. Plus reflect everything else. Last Staff Amulet, you get like the delay effect, cheat death. Aspect of Siroth gives you a very similar effect. I don't know. For me, I don't see enough here to be like, this is exciting. Like, a lot of these, they're not terrible, but none of these are must-haves. Zibia's Servitude is quite good. You do need to upgrade this significantly. It's really useless, I think, if you bring it in at a base level. You need to get it up to like level 5 or level 6, but you would be doing that with a mythical anyway, and that's getting easier as time goes on. They've recently added more basalt, though it's mostly locked behind endgame stuff. So if you're able to do Ultra Nightmare Chimera trials, you can potentially get 2 4-star basalts every week. So actually hitting level 5 is very possible now, and level 6 is actually possible as well now. I think it gets pretty strong then. You get an additional 25% from the level ups. You add it on, you're up to 40%. So enemies can't crit you if your HP is below 40% at max rank. It's actually very good. So this is really good on champions that have a lot of HP or that have a lot of damage reduction. Champions that can actually stay alive. Like there's no point in putting this, let's say, on a Georgid, right? What's Georgid going to do below 40% HP? A Stiff Breeze is going to kill him. He doesn't need to be crit. He's just going to die. That being said, you put this on a Star Sage Galathier, you put it on a Nice, a Theodosia, whatever. Some really tanky champions that have some really nasty abilities if you leave them alive. Ancora, even. It could be pretty good on Ancora with her passive. And then it actually becomes really, really potent, really strong. So I don't think this is top tier, and you need like very specific setups, but I think it is potentially quite strong. Now, Stars of the Genang is insane. It's bonkers. Whenever an enemy's turn meter is increased, you increase by 10%. You can upgrade that to, again, this is very weighted towards upgrading, but you get an additional 40%. So 50% of their turn meter increase. Here's the thing, like if Arbiter turn meter boosts the enemy team, she's boosting 4 people by 30%. So that's 120%. You're getting 60%, right? So like you get a 60% turn meter boost. That's nuts. Every time they get some turn meters. That's crazy. And you can have lots of champions getting turn meter. You could have like supersonic sets, whatever. You can have enemies stealing turn meter. You can have turn meter boosters. They're very common. This is potentially crazy good. So I think this is insane. So this is the big chase one. I'm not really sold on the others. So again, the point here is going back to this. I really think that these mythical Radiant Sun Lilies is really the only important thing there. The rest, whatever. You could get it, but I don't think it's that valuable. I think the Basalt is nice. But yeah, this is very much optional. I think it's kind of hope for the mythicals if you're doing it. But yeah, it's not too crazy. This is, by the way, we've the relics tier list on hellhades.com. Hopefully we will be upgrading this at some point. I don't know when that will happen. So for example, like I do manage this tier list, but for example, I can't move stuff within the tier. So it's just sort of, the tiers are just sorted randomly. Hopefully that might get changed at some point. I think there's a full website overhaul due for maybe 2026 at some point. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, for me, you can see over here, Stars the Genang, I do think is SS tier. Like for instance, like these two, the Forge Pass one should be at the top. Like those things are busted. But whatever. But yeah, Stars the Genang is really good, and you can see Zibia Servitude is really good. I don't rate anything else particularly highly. Like I think these are over in the A tier, and maybe they should even go down, to be honest. Like I don't think they're that special. So yeah, that's sort of my thoughts on it. I do think, by the way, Exusar's Totem is a pretty good Mithrala relic. She loves the accuracy. She can remove crowd control, so it's a pretty big win. So that's a lovely Mithrala relic if you pick one up. Great one to slap on your Mithrala. Really, really nice. St. Xavier's Tribute. I think this actually, weirdly, does work. Even though it only gives you the basic Veil, it doesn't give you Perfect Veil. I think this basic Veil, it does help you towards the Chimera trial, where you've got to do damage, I think, to the Ram form while under Veil, or I think it says even under Perfect Veil. I don't know. But I think it does work for that, so it gives you a budget way to do that, and it's not bad for Hydra, right? The Veil to ignore the Head of Torment. It's not bad. I think this one is like okay for some solo stuff. So, I mean, the epics, you'll get some use out of it. And yeah, I've seen a few people using Last Laugh amulets. I've not seen it do anything much useful, but I've seen it being used a little bit. And mostly the champions trigger it and then just die. I don't know. Would be good with any champs that block damage, of course. Yeah, so I don't know, but not seeing it used too much, but it does have potential to be funky. But yeah, that's sort of where we're at with that. Let me know what you think about this. I think that it's very optional. Again, I think if you do go for this with your Immortals, it's really not bad, and you will get potentially some stuff. But I think this Fuel Deck of Fate, it's mostly just going to give you a bunch of junk to level up your relics, which is valuable. It's useful, but it's not essential. You will be able to pin cards, which is nice. So yeah, we will see. When this goes live on Monday, we'll see how many points you get. For each Mortal Soulstone. So how many would you need to make a rough impact? Upgrading champions is something you can do fairly easily as well if you've got a good champ storage, in your vault. You got lots of champions ready to level up. You got lots of brews saved, lots of chickens. It's something that a lot of players can go pretty hard on upgrading champions if they want to. It might be worth doing this. It depends what is in these fate chests. Like, I mean, this is the thing, right? Because you can pin rarity, maybe there is lots of mythical relics in the, I mean, the downside is you might match all your purple cards. There's only 8. This is the problem as well. There's 8 purple cards. That's a bit worrying. Now, if there's 9, it's not so bad. You can get 3 chests if there's 9. If there's only 8, put a big question mark there, because that could be a problem if there's only 8. Look, we'll see. We'll see exactly how it works out. We'll see exactly what the rewards are. It's likely to be decent, but not essential. That's my view on it. So yeah, so it depends. How many soul stones do you have saved up, and do you feel comfortable summoning them? If you got a decent stockpile of soul stones, I think it's likely to be pretty worth it. But we'll see exactly how many points you get on Monday. That's my rough thoughts on it and my thoughts on the relics. And yeah, all the rest. Hopefully it's helpful and insightful and interesting. I'll obviously break this down on Monday. And like I said, I will probably pull my mortals for it. And actually, after Sunday, you should get another few. I'll be close to like 200 mortals for this. So we'll see. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll catch you all next time. Goodbye.